My dad played a lot of Borderlands, but this toolbox not really matching the vibe. So for his birthday, I decided to fix that. Hello and welcome back to Arvania Constructions. Before we can start, I need to cut away the elevated logo because this bothers me a lot. Borderlands uses something called cel-shading. Instead of smooth realistic shading, everything is simplified. I pick one light direction, in this case from slightly above, and simplify everything into light and shadow. Areas that fall more into shadow need to get painted darker, like these grooves here. Before I can make any changes to this box, I need to prepare the surface. Because if the base isn't right, nothing will stick. I use my mini blowtorch to give the plastic more grip, because that's how I learned it from craftsmen. So to get the Borderlands look, I use different shades of the same color, yellow in this case. First I apply a base coat to the entire surface. The top areas receive a brighter yellow because this is where the light hits the object. The other areas stay a bit darker and I add some dirt and scratches. I paint the grooves an even deeper color before I add white for some strong highlights. It's not about realism, it's about strong contrast. The stronger the contrast, the more it feels like the game. Next, I am painting the lid caps on the box, which cover compartments for smaller items. I must say, this box is really cool. I follow the same principle as before. First I cover everything with a uniform yellow base, so the other colors blend more easily. After that, I use a darker ochre to make the edges look a little worn. The raised areas get a brighter yellow. The surfaces facing the dark side get painted a dark yellow, while the opposite side gets a layer even lighter than the top. Now I need to do something about this scratched area right here. So I printed a perforated plate to cover up this eyesore. As you can see, it's flat at first, but with a bit of heat I can bend it to perfectly match the shape of the box. Then I just press it into place and the plastic holds its form. Once the piece is shaped, I start with a solid grey base coat. The second layer is a bit more metallic. To give it some more visual interest, I add streaks using light grey, dark grey and a bit of brown. I paint them almost randomly and suddenly it starts to look like dirt, wear and scratches. Now for the most important step, the marker. This is what creates the wonderful outlines. I'm using two different tip sizes and testing both to see which works better. First I trace the natural lines of the shape, especially along the bends and edges. Then I go over the darker streaks I painted earlier, turning them into defined scratches. And finally I outline all the holes. Every single one. That's what really gives it that Borderlands comic style look. The outlines create strong visual contrast and clearly define each surface. I actually found out that this thinner marker works much better for this piece. To finish it off, I add outlines along the outer edges and now it really starts to come together. This is the handle, freshly printed, still warm and keeping the same perforated design as the other part. Just like before, I start with a full grey base coat, making sure to paint from every angle. I really work the brush into all the holes so none of that bright pastel green filament shows through. Even though I love the color. It reminds me of matcha latte. But okay, once that's dry it gets another more silver layer, just like the previous piece. I noticed that using grey as a base layer makes the silver look much better. Even better than white or black would. And of course, the outlines come back into play. I trace along the edges and around every single hole with the marker. But I'm not aiming for perfect lines here. The strokes break occasionally. They vary in thickness depending on how hard I press. Even the circles around the holes aren't perfectly round. And that's totally intentional. Now it's time for the Hyperion plate. I designed this piece with the manufacturer's logo slightly recessed into the surface. The logo itself gets painted in this bright yellow, so it really stands out and ties in with the rest of the box. It's a subtle detail, but it gives the whole toolbox a little extra personality. The base stays dark silver just like the other metal parts. And of course, some more outlines. I trace around the letters, the scratches and the outer edges. Hyperion always saw the idea of perfection. Clean lines, sharp branding, corporate superiority. But out on Pandora, nothing stays pristine for long. Even the finest gear gets passed around, dropped, dragged through the dust. Give it a little time in the wasteland, and even Hyperion tech starts to pick up a few scars. Once everything is fully painted, I attach the plate to the front of the toolbox using a bit of superglue. I add the perforated blade on top, and suddenly the box starts looking complete. All the details coming together. Now it's finally time to outline the box itself. I go around the ledges, tracing every edge and corner. All the outer lines get defined, and I add extra scratches and sketchy strokes to put the comic look even further. I think outlining is actually the most fun part, and it's so easy to do. You just follow the natural edges and bends of the piece, letting the lines fall where they naturally belong. It's incredible how something so simple can completely transform the look, adding depth and character in just a few strokes. Suddenly, all the separate pieces start to feel connected, and the whole box really has this awesome, shaded look. Lastly, I add some more strokes to the corners, and once both ledges are finished, I move on to the top lids. Check out the impact these outlines make. The difference is incredible. This is some matte varnish. To finish off the surfaces, I add a layer to the yellow areas. I didn't want to risk the marker smudging under spray varnish, so this keeps everything safe. Next, I attach the handle using superglue and a bit of baking powder for extra hold. I also printed an additional piece to make the lifting of the box more comfortable. This little end piece gets glued to the underside of the handle, fully covering the original one and giving the box a more durable, gritty feel. Now comes the final step. I wasn't sure if it might be too much, but I just had to try it. Using dark silver, I paint on worn edges all over the box, just wherever it feels right. Those indents on the lid were just asking for more details. I outline the worn edges in slightly jagged lines. It creates the effect of natural wear, as if the paint underneath has been scratched through, giving the box a used vibe. The slight imperfections are what give it that hand-drawn Borderlands feel, I believe. This box probably has a story. Maybe someone found it half buried in the dirt, cracked open, stuffed with cash, ammo? Maybe even a rare pistol no one was supposed to get their hands on. Those scratches? They're not just wear and tear. Could have been a skag jumping it mid-fight, dragging it through the sand after getting knocked on its back. Maybe it was kicked across the wasteland during a firefight. Maybe it's been used as cover more than once. And if you look closely, there might even be a few bloodstains on there. But let's not get into that. Vault hunters aren't exactly known for keeping things clean, are they? Now, I just add a few tiny screws to sell the illusion. And suddenly, these indents don't look useless anymore. Like they're actually holding the whole thing together. And with that, I think we're done. I'm so happy with how it turned out. And let me tell you, my dad was really happy about it too. Thank you so much for watching and joining me on this build. Let me know in the comments if you liked it as well. If this video helped you or gave you an idea for your own project, feel free to leave a like and subscribe for more of what I make, such as dioramas, sculpting, 3D modeling and printing, drawing, and more. See you in the next one!